I'm Scott Turner. We begin tonight with breaking news and a heartbreaking update. The family of Linda Brown confirming she's been found dead.
Leslie Moreno has been following this since the beginning. She joins us live. Leslie, the family says the teacher was found in Lake Michigan.
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, certainly not the outcome we had all hoped for. Family says Linda's body was recovered from the lake here not too long ago. We actually saw as Linda's body was being pulled out of the water here. Take a look. This is on 31st and Harbor. Part of this area has been closed off pretty much all afternoon as crews recovered Linda's body here. 53-year-old Linda Brown was reported missing on January 3rd. Volunteers and family members spent 9 days searching for Linda. They were focusing mostly on the lakefront along 31st Street Beach and Burnham Park after surveillance footage showed Linda walking toward a pedestrian bridge over the expressway shortly before she disappeared. Linda Brown was a special education teacher here in Chicago. Family says she was on a mental health leave prior to her disappearance. The cause of death at this time is unknown. Of course, our thoughts and our prayers are with Linda's family and friends. We did just speak with Linda's family maybe half an hour ago. They are dealing with this unimaginable loss. They do, however, want to extend their gratitude to everyone who assisted in all the search efforts over the last 9 days. We will, of course, have more on this coming up tonight at 9. For now, reporting here along the lakefront, Leslie Moreno, Fox, Chicago.
All right, let's shift our attention to the forecast as we look at a live shot of what was really a beautiful sunset, a beautiful day out there, warmer than usual and only getting warmer as we look forward, right?
That's right. So tomorrow's going to be even warmer than what we had today. Today's highs topped out in the lower 40s. And typically for this time of the year, your average highs are in the lower 30s. So we came in about 10 degrees above that today. And tomorrow, we're counting on high temperatures that are going to be around 50 degrees. So very warm, almost spring-like tomorrow. And then we start to see some changes. The rest of the week's going to be in the 20s and 30s. And then looking ahead to that Bears game on Sunday, it is going to get very cold. We're talking highs that are only going to be in the upper teens to near 20 degrees. Wind chill temperatures could be close to 0. So it's definitely going to be a very cold game on Sunday. For right now, we're in the mid to upper 30s, and we're only going to drop a few more degrees tonight. So a lot of us are going to find our lows in the low to mid 30s. In the meantime, we're looking at temperatures dropping down to about 36 degrees by 10 p.m. We also have several chances of snow in your forecast this week. Those details coming up.
Thank you, Emily. A 23-year-old woman is in critical condition tonight after she was injured in a drive-by shooting right outside where she works. Officials tell us she is an employee of Rush University Medical Center, and she was shot early this morning while parked near the hospital. Police have not said if this was targeted. No one has been arrested as of tonight, but police are looking for a dark-colored sedan.
More violence on the CTA over the past week. There has been or have been 4 stabbings.
No one has been arrested in any of those attacks, but police did just make an arrest in a deadly CTA shooting. Terrence Lee is here with what we know so far.
Yeah, people are growingly concerned. Understandable why, Dawn. The shooting happened on the Pink Line last month. One rider was killed, another was injured. Today, a 34-year-old man was arrested and charged with murder. Police say Pedro Villarilla got into a fight with 2 men on the train. He had a knife. One of the victims had a gun. But at some point, police say he got a hold of the firearm and started shooting. Both of the men, a 23 and 44-year-old, were shot. The older one did not survive. And there's been a lot of concern about safety on CTA trains. Since the beginning of this month, there have been 4 stabbings, one of which was deadly. The most recent was early yesterday morning. It was on the Red Line along West 69th Street. Police said the man got into an argument with someone else when that person stabbed him in the chest. He was seriously hurt. Police are still searching for the person who attacked him right now. And at that same spot earlier this month, a man and woman were injured in a stabbing after a fight. The deadly stabbing happened Saturday morning at the Clark and Lake Station. A 37-year-old man was attacked early in the morning. Again, no one in any of these stabbings has been arrested. Scott.
Terrence, thank you for that. The search for the suspect in a widely publicized double murder out of Ohio ends right here in Illinois.
The alleged killer was arrested Saturday in Rockford and appeared in court today. Casey Cronez has the latest on the extradition hearing.
The hearing was over almost as quickly as it started, lasting less than 2 minutes. Now the suspect will be moved by sheriff's officials back to Ohio, where he is facing murder charges. Wearing a yellow Winnebago County jumpsuit and shackled, Michael David McKee appeared in a Rockford courtroom. Standing beside his public defender, he waived extradition to Ohio. The 39-year-old is charged with 2 counts of premeditated aggravated murder in the killings of his ex-wife, Monique, and her husband, Spencer Tepe, out of Columbus, Ohio.
Extradition is rarely contested. The governor of Ohio will then have 30 days in which to pick him up. They want to get him out of this system and into that system as soon as they possibly can.
Spencer, who is a dentist, and Monique were found shot to death in their home on December 30th. Their 2 young children were there at the time, but weren't hurt. For days, police were without leads, but eventually traced a car that arrived in the area of the Tepe home before the homicides and left soon after, all the way back to Illinois, and connected it to McKee. McKee and Monique divorced in 2017. McKee lives in a condo building in Lincoln Park, but works as a surgeon at OSF St. Anthony Medical Center in Rockford. A spokesperson for the health system tells us OSF is cooperating with authorities who will provide any further information. Prosecutors haven't yet revealed a possible motive. Clinical professor of law at Chicago-Kent College, Richard Kling, is weighing in on the puzzling case.
I don't know his psychology or what was going through his mind. It's not unusual. I've had other cases where the incident occurs a number of years ago. You think it's over, and it's not over. It erupts several years later. And that's apparently what's happened here.
A status hearing is scheduled in Rockford next Monday afternoon. But if McKee is transferred before then, it will be canceled and legal proceedings will pick up in Ohio. Reporting in Rockford, Casey Cronus, Fox Chicago.
Bears riding high into the second round of the playoffs after sending Green Bay packing.
The LA Rams will make the long trip here to take on the Bears in the cold. Tina Nguyen is here with more.
Yeah, guys, victory Monday in Chicago, and safe to say this will be the coldest game the Rams will play all season long. Last time the Bears played the Rams in the playoffs back in 1986, 40 years ago today, the Bears shut out the Rams 24-0 in the NFC Championship game as they Super Bowl shuffled their way also to a championship. To Sunday's matchup, though, game time will be later tonight, but the Rams under Sean McVay are 0-2 in his career at Soldier Field against the Bears. Chicago won last year's meeting, a 28-14 victory at home, and held quarterback Matthew Stafford without a touchdown. And of course, there was the game-sealing interception by Jaquan Brisker. But this is a different Rams team this season. They've led the NFL in scoring and total yards, led by Stafford, who is of course playing at an MVP level, something Ben Johnson is not surprised with after he spent 2 seasons with him in Detroit.
So much respect for that guy. I mean, you talk about the ultimate competitor. He's one of the more supremely talented throwers of the football I've ever been around in my life. He's outstanding. I think he's a great teammate. But what I think second to none with him is his toughness, physical toughness. Like this guy's gone through a lot, and yet finds a way to will himself onto the field to be there for his teammates. So when you look at him from just a competitor standpoint, like this is a really good player.
All right, so Bears and Rams, yes, they will be playing on Sunday. The time will later be determined. We'll, of course, keep you updated here on Fox Chicago. Coming up later in sports, though, Ben Johnson did not hold back from his colorful language post-game about the Packers. Hear from him later in sports. Don and Scott.
Look forward to that. Meanwhile, the Bears fighting for yards on the field. Off it, they're fighting for acres.
There was some action off the field on Saturday in the quest for a new stadium, and it's having ripple effects today. Political reporter Paris Schutz has more.
Dawn and Scott, the intrigue on the field is great, but the intrigue off the field is just as present. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell came to Chicago to take in Saturday's unbelievable victory, but it was after a tour he took with Bears brass before the game, and one fan caught it all on camera.
Look closely. This is a picture of Bears chairman George McCaskey, President Kevin Warren, and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell just hours before the game Saturday, standing on the Arlington Heights Stadium site. The meeting was caught by Greg Berger, who was dropping his son off at the metro station, ironically, to go to the Bears game at Soldier Field.
I'm like, whoa, that's George McCaskey. That's crazy. Then I spot Kevin Warren, and he's got the orange tie, and I'm like, that's Kevin Warren. He's always sporting the orange tie. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, my jaw totally dropped when I saw Roger Goodell. That's when I was like, what is even happening right now? This is bizarre.
Sources close to the stadium negotiations tell me Goodell also toured sites in Northwest Indiana. Lawmakers there are working on a potential tax deal to lure the team across the state line. 3 weeks ago, the Times of Northwest Indiana caught representatives of the Bears conducting site testing on the plot of land in Hammond. Sports stadium consultant Mark Gannis says he expects Indiana to roll out the red carpet.
I think what we're going to see coming from Indiana is going to be so significant in terms of public money going into the stadium.
And sources close to the Bears say they're looking to Indiana Republican Governor Mike Braun, who gives his State of the State address on Wednesday, to see if he mentions anything about a potential stadium. Braun has been publicly supportive of efforts to this point. The Bears have been stalled on Illinois legislation that they're seeking. It would give them the ability to negotiate future property tax rates with Arlington Heights, something they say they need before they can attract investors to build the stadium. They're also looking for state money to help with infrastructure, but vow to build the entire structure on their own.
This deal that's being offered in Arlington Heights is really very one-sided for the benefit of the taxpayers, and very one-sided as compared to, say, the Chiefs in Kansas, the Cleveland Browns in suburban Cleveland.
And striking while the iron's hot, the team just sent out surveys today to season ticket holders, asking them how they would feel about a potential Northwest Indiana stadium, as well as seating charts for a new potential dome and potential pricing. Scott and Dawn, would you like to know the highest personal seat license proposed price?
Sure.
Yeah.
$100K, a cool 100.
Wow. That's just for the right to buy the ticket.
That's just for the right to buy the ticket.
That doesn't get you the seat.
Then you got to spend a lot of money for the seat. 100 grand for the PS. Now there's a range. For the nosebleeds, it's like a couple grand.
Yeah.
All the way up to 100 grand.
Oh, I've heard.
Paris,
they got to pay for this stadium somehow.
Yeah. All right, Paris.
Thanks, Paris.
No shortage, by the way, of Bears content tonight. We're going to take you back in the stadium where fans had the place literally shaking.
Their hearts were racing too, as you can imagine. A doctor helping us understand when you should actually be concerned.
Fox 32 News.
President Trump is issuing a warning to Cuba. He is urging the island nation to, quote, make a deal with the U.S. before it's too late. The warning comes as the U.S. is taking control of Venezuela's oil industry. Venezuela has long been Cuba's largest oil supplier. President Trump met with the oil executives in Washington on Friday, saying the U.S. has no interest in destabilizing Cuba. But the halt of Venezuelan oil and money would be catastrophic for the Cuban economy. Cuba's president says he is open to talks with the U.S. There is chaos in cities across Iran. What began as protests over its weakened economy has brought a harsh and deadly crackdown by the regime. Human rights groups estimate hundreds of people have been killed and thousands more imprisoned. The government has shut down phone lines and internet. President Trump says the U.S. is prepared to act. The president and his team have reportedly been weighing options ranging from cyber attacks to direct military strikes. Iran has threatened retaliation, but despite the war of words, both sides appear willing to talk.
Iran called to negotiate.
The greatest leverage the regime had just several months ago was their nuclear program, which President Trump and the United States military totally obliterated through Operation Midnight Hammer.
President Trump is reportedly planning to meet with his national security team tomorrow to go over options.
Minnesota suing the federal government. They want to stop Trump's immigration crackdown.
The lawsuit says the federal government is really targeting Minnesota over politics, which it says is a violation of the First Amendment.
It comes as DHS is doubling down, defending the officer who fatally shot 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, arguing he acted in self-defense. The agency says it's deploying more federal officers to Minnesota to protect other ICE agents and to help with the immigration crackdown.
Illinois is also suing the Department of Homeland Security in response to tactics used by ICE and Border Protection agents in the state. Chicago joined the state in filing the lawsuit today. It argues ICE and Border Patrol agents have been using illegal and dangerous tactics, including using tear gas and swapping or altering license plates. Secretary of State Alexi Giannullia says Illinois will not stand for federal agents disregarding laws and compromising public safety.
We have a fundamental responsibility to protect our residents, to uphold the law, and to hold people accountable for their illegal actions. With help from Illinoisans using our Plate Watch hotline, we gathered the evidence that helped form one of the foundations for this lawsuit.
The lawsuit is asking a federal court to order agents in Illinois to stop using illegal tactics, including deploying tear gas without warning. DHS reacting tonight with Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin saying in part, quote, "It really is astounding that the left can miraculously rediscover the 10th Amendment when they don't want federal law enforcement officers to enforce federal law." She goes on to say, quote, "The fact is that sanctuary politicians in Illinois and Chicago released violent criminals, including murderers, rapists, drug dealers, pedophiles, gang members, and terrorists onto its streets, and their dereliction of duty cost lives." The former ComEd CEO, Anne Primaggiore, reported to prison today to begin her 2-year sentence. She was part of the ComEd 4. Primaggiore was convicted of bribing former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan to pass legislation that would benefit the utility company. Madigan is serving a 7.5-year prison sentence.
The jury now seated in the civil trial against Boeing here in Chicago. Boeing taking a plea deal in 2024 to avoid a criminal trial after 2 deadly plane crashes in 2018 and 2019. A man suing Boeing for the deaths of his mother, father, and sister, who were passengers on board the 737 MAX plane that crashed in Ethiopia. Boeing says the family is entitled to pursue the case, and they will work to resolve the claims. The Department of Justice has subpoenaed the Federal Reserve and is threatening to indict Fed Chair Jerome Powell. It's related to testimony that he gave to the Senate last year regarding the Fed's building renovations. President Trump has called the $2.5 billion renovation excessive. Powell claims the White House is playing politics over his refusal to slash interest rates.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation.
Powell's term as Fed chair ends this May. President Trump plans to announce his replacement by the end of the month.
Illinois has bought people more time to lock in health coverage through the state. The deadline to enroll and get covered Illinois is now January 31st. This matters because health insurance premiums have jumped since Congress allowed Affordable Care Act tax credits to expire at the end of last year. And it is time to test the radon levels in your home. The Cook County Department of Public Health is recognizing Radon Action Month. It's urging you, no matter where you live, to test for the radioactive, colorless, and odorless gas that can cause lung cancer. Radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in the U.S. after smoking, and it is responsible for an estimated 21,000 lung cancer deaths in the U.S. It can accumulate in your home with no noticeable signs. We spoke with the COO for the Cook County Department of Public Health on Chicago Live about what to do if you find radon in your home.
If your levels are high, which are 5 picocuries per liter or higher, there are proven ways to reduce the radon. So that can involve sealing cracks in your basement, floors, or your walls, or installing a special type of ventilation system that's very effective at removing that radon from your home.
Cook County is offering free radon test kits to suburban Cook County residents. If you live outside of that area, you can buy them on the American Lung Association website. All right, let's check our forecast. Yes, it's warming up, but, you know, a lot of people are already focused on the Bears game, Emily. We're going to freeze.
That's the only question I've been getting. It's just what does Sunday look like? You know, Sunday's looking very, very cold. We are going to be seeing high temperatures that are only in the upper teens to near 20 degrees. But maybe it'll play in our favor, you know. Maybe the folks from LA aren't so used to it like we are here in the Chicago area, but it's going to be a very cold game, and wind chill temperatures very easily could be pretty close to zero. Your temperatures right now, not so bad, sitting in the mid to upper 30s. Typically for this time of the year, your average high is right around the freezing mark. So we are well above that today. Many of us saw our highs in the low 40s. And here's where we're headed over the next few hours. So I think by 9, 10 p.m. or so, many of us are going to be in the mid 30s, and then temperatures are going to stay steady going throughout the overnight. So we're waking up tomorrow kind of getting a head start to that warmth. And tomorrow's highs are going to be even warmer than what we had today. We're counting on temperatures warming up to near 50 degrees, although it is going to be very gusty tomorrow. We're going to have wind gusts out of the west-southwest, possibly about as high as about 40 miles per hour. So your 5-day forecast here, 50 degrees tomorrow, 38 expected on Wednesday. Wednesday, we're going to have scattered snow showers, and then lake effect snow is likely going to be developing over northwest Indiana Wednesday into Thursday. Temperatures later this week going to bounce back and forth between the 20s and 30s. We'll be right back.
We do the job.
begin across America in Pennsylvania with a disturbing discovery. Police finding dozens of remains inside a man's home.
Jonathan Gerlach was arrested for burglarizing graves, stealing more than 100 remains, some dating back decades or even centuries. Police believe he was selling them online, and he reportedly even came to Chicago to sell a human skull. The challenge facing authorities now is reuniting families with the remains. The cemetery is asking for donations to step up security.
The judge overseeing Luigi Mangioni's federal trial ordering a new hearing today. The focus is on whether or not his backpack was lawfully searched during his arrest. There will be a sole witness, an officer from the police department in Pennsylvania where Mangioni was arrested. Mangioni's defense has been pushing to exclude key evidence from the trial. The judge is also expected to rule at some point on whether Mangioni could face the death penalty if he's convicted in the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
Nearly 15,000 nurses across New York City are on strike today in what officials are calling the largest nurses' strike in city history. Nurses say they were at the negotiating table through the night without reaching a deal on a new contract. They're asking for improved staffing and security and better pay. Hospital systems have pushed back on demands, calling them unrealistic.
Let's go to Hershey, Pennsylvania, home of chocolate bars, amusement park rides, and apparently the toughest tights in America. This is video from a youth hockey game over the weekend, and this was during the intermission. Apparently, didn't take long for the gloves to come off. You can see players under the age of 8. And look at them go at each other. The brawl now all over social media.
Also in Pennsylvania, businesses in the front, party in the back, or business in the front. The annual mullet contest returns today to the State Farm Show. This is only the 3rd year for the event, but it's already a fan favorite, and I think you can see why. The contest has 4 different age categories, even including kids under the age of 5. The best overall mullet will be awarded Best in Grow. And they will have They'll have a separate honor for the most patriotic mullet in honor of America's 250th birthday. They call that award the Flow of Freedom.
A billboard message in Detroit has gone viral. It's a very personal message to one very specific guy. Take me back. I miss you and love you. Love, Jaden. There were no emojis, no explanations, just a message that has now become everybody's business. Of course, people online have a lot of questions, including, is this romance or a red flag?
Yeah, that's what it looks like when you finally get to meet your boy. That's 3-year-old Mally Valentine from New Jersey at Disney World over the weekend getting a hug from Mickey. He went viral when his mom posted video of him seeing Disney on Ice, saying, "That's my boy." When he saw Mickey before bursting into tears, that was another video. Well, the video got millions of views on Instagram, including the folks from Disney, and they flew him and his family to Orlando for this face-to-face meeting after that other video went viral.
Nice. Cool. You went on Dumbo. Still to have the news at 5. To say Bears fans were excited after Saturday's win would be a massive understatement.
Soldier Field was literally shaking. It was so loud. We're live with more on how the stadium came alive.
And that excitement, that nervousness as you were watching, your heart pounding, scary fast. Well, a doctor's breaking down the cardiac Bears impact on your health.
I'm Cassie Carlson. Ben Johnson didn't mince his words while celebrating with his team after sending the Packers home in the wild card round. Later in sports, hear what George McCaskey had to say about his colorful language.
Now at the bottom of the hour, the weather whiplash is not finished just yet. We are warming back up before dropping way down.
Could be changes coming for short-term rentals in Kane County. What you need to know about tomorrow's vote.
A lot of us use Cash App. A Chicago area veteran did too, but now he's out of a lot of money.
Yeah, he tells us thousands of dollars disappeared from his account.
And it has been almost 2 months and he still hasn't gotten his money back. Tia Ewing looked into why he is still waiting.
10 different commands, so that's basically 10 different jobs. 2 tours in Italy, 3 tours in Japan, South Carolina.
Wow. Romir Ellis served 30 years in the United States Navy, a career built on discipline, security, and trust.
So you expect to be treated with some respect as a veteran?
Just a little bit.
Something.
A 100% disabled veteran, Ellis last served as an information systems technician, master chief petty officer, senior enlisted advisor at the Hopper Information Services Center. Cybersecurity wasn't just his job, it was his mission.
I was 18, 19 years old for Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and I deployed in 2007 to Afghanistan. So 2 wars and multiple conflicts and deployments.
But on November 19th of 2025, someone else decided to test the waters, this time digitally. Ellis says a scammer accessed his Cash App, logging in online. They dipped a toe in the water first. They sent $1 to themselves, then another. By the time Ellis woke up, the breach had already spread.
So I immediately logged into my Navy Federal account and saw where there was 5 transactions from via Cash App in amount of $5,902 that I did not make. But they did catch the $1,500, but I received no fraud alert for the other transactions.
$5,902 routed straight out of his Navy Federal Credit Union account and into someone else's hands. And after taking thousands, they came back for more.
They were sending out requests asking for money. So I got a buddy.
So they pulled money from the Cash App.
Yes, and then they was reaching out to my friends because they had access to all my friends in Cash App. They had sense enough to say, both of them, one female and one male, was like, man, Ron ain't asking me for no $400.
Cash App later acknowledged what Ellis already knew. In December of 2025, they issued a statement saying that Ellis's account was compromised. He says he forwarded that information to Navy Federal expecting backup, but instead he got this, a letter on December 22nd. After a second review, Navy Federal says no error occurred and Ellis is responsible for the full amount. The husband and father of 3 children says this wasn't the first time that he had an issue with Navy Federal Credit Union. He'd had 2 issues before.
I mean, I've been with Navy Federal 35 years.
But it is by far, he says, the most disappointing.
So I'm a little disgusted to be a member this long and them just to easily discount and say that they thoroughly conducted an investigation.
Navy Federal Credit Union told me they can't disclose information about his specific account, but did say we take the privacy and security of our members' financial information extremely seriously, adding that it provides security tools like 2-factor authentication, code words, and transaction alerts to help members protect their accounts. Tia Ewing, Fox Chicago.
Thank you, Tia. Happening tonight, LaGrange Village Board will hear another proposal to demolish the historic Jackson Square Mall. Developers are proposing to tear down the mall to build a new condo building. Residents are pushing back with proposals to remodel the century-old space. They say demolishing it would destroy the village's historical charm.
After months of debate, the Kane County Board will decide this week whether it is time to redefine the rules for short-term rental properties found on popular apps like Vrbo and Airbnb. Tomorrow night's vote is not meant to block what has become a common practice, but to ensure safety and to lessen the strain on wells and septic systems in unincorporated areas.
This party's going on too long, it's going too late, the street's blocked with cars, there are people coming and going at all hours of the night, just, crazy things going on.
Regulations now under consideration include home inspections prior to any rentals, 2 guests per bedroom with a maximum of 16 guests per property, no more than 12 rental contracts per year, and a $200 licensing fee on any short-term rental property. All right, let's go back outside because if you like today about 10 degrees above normal, you're going to like tomorrow even better.
That's right. We are counting on high temperatures that are soaring to near 50 degrees tomorrow. It's going to be feeling like spring, and we're going to have a little bit of sunshine out there too. So tomorrow looks lovely, but then later this week, we're looking at several chances of snow. So temperatures are going to take a dive toward the middle of this week. Wednesday into Thursday, we're going to be in the 20s and 30s, staying in the 20s and 30s going into this upcoming weekend, and we're going to have multiple systems rolling through. But the one that I'm a little more concerned about is going to be the lake effect snow event that could be unfolding for Northwest Indiana Wednesday night into early Thursday. Exact placement, we still have to figure out where that's going to be based on the wind direction, the exact wind direction. But for those of you in Northwest Indiana, or for those of you maybe planning to travel through Wednesday night to Thursday, we could be seeing some localized heavy snow. Right now, we have temperatures of 39 degrees, only dropping down into the mid-30s tonight, so it's not going to be all that chilly. Then tomorrow, we're up to near 50. Skies are going to become partly cloudy. Wednesday, scattered wind-whipped snow showers. It's going to be gusty on Wednesday as well. Highs near 38. And then we are dropping into the 20s with most areas becoming partly cloudy during the day. Back to you.
Well, your heart still may be racing after the Cardiac Bears did it again.
We talk with a doctor about the health impact of these high-pressure games.
You could feel the pressure, and this game was so loud, you could feel it, literally. I'm Brett Bogansky, live outside of Soldier Field tonight. Coming up, we're going to show you the science of why this is happening and if you should feel concerned for your safety if you feel the game get loud.
Fox 32 News.
If you were there Saturday night, maybe you felt it. Some say the game's so intense that Soldier Field was shaking.
Brett Bogansky is live outside Soldier Field. Brett, you found out this is a real thing, huh?
There's a few reasons for why this happened, and of course the crowd plays such a big factor in this. Not only how loud they are, how they cheer, but it's the jumping around, the stomping that you may have heard on TV, maybe you were inside the stadium, but you also have to consider this. You've got the speakers inside the game. You put all of them together, and it creates the special atmosphere that we all saw and experienced on Saturday night. After all, it was Al Michaels who said in the 31 times that he was at Soldier Field doing a game with the Chicago Bears, he has never felt shaking inside of Soldier Field. But, you know, he wasn't the only one. We had Courtney Cronin on Chicago Sports Tonight who said she could feel the press box shaking. Our very own Cassie Carlson, who you just heard from a few minutes ago, said it was the best Soldier Field crowd she's ever experienced in her 4 years covering the team. So I spoke with Kevin Butler, not the former Bears kicker. He's an engineer with Henderson Engineers, and they help design professional sports facilities. And so his specialty is all about acoustics. He told me there's a science behind why some stadiums are just louder than others. It comes down to how tall the facility is, how close the fans are to the action, and where the speakers are set up inside of the stadium. Also, of course, how many people are inside. And sometimes the fans can impact the game.
When people see a stadium shake, should they have to worry about their safety?
Well, there's nothing to be concerned about from a safety standpoint. Buildings are designed so that they're not completely rigid. They have some flex to help them move and dissipate vibration. So no reason to be concerned. You know, it's definitely more of something to be celebrated. It's showcasing the fans' energy and definitely makes for a memorable moment.
So I checked with the Chicago Bears to find out how loud this game was on Saturday. I'm still waiting to hear back, but Kevin Butler told me anything 120 decibels or over is going to be significant. He described it being very close to a jet engine or being at a rock concert if you were going to see Van Halen here. But, you know, sometimes it gets so loud it causes seismic activity. So be sure to stick around at 9 o'clock. We'll explain a few times where that's happened. But for now, we're live outside Soldier Field tonight. Brett Pagansky, Fox Chicago.
Well, meanwhile, that last-second win brought back the cardiac Bears name.
So Terrence is back to walk us through what that stress does to you.
Yeah, it shows up pretty fast. You start sweating, your body starts doing things it shouldn't really be doing. And the fans are noticing it more now because these games keep ending in the final minutes. But doctors say they do see physical changes around big games. Heart rates go up, blood pressure can go up too. And the difference is very visible these days because so many of you are wearing smart watches and heart monitors, and it really shows the spikes in real time. So fans aren't just feeling it, they're seeing it too. Doctors also say emergency rooms do get busier during major sporting events. Most of those patients already have heart problems, and that's the group doctors watch most closely.
Most of the time, the elevated heart rate is going to be normal and part of our natural physiology, meaning that it's just a normal response to being excited or with the Bears and 7 comeback wins, being a little stressed out. And most of the time, that's not going to cause any long-term negative effects, but particularly for people with prior cardiac conditions like coronary artery disease and heart failure or atrial fibrillation, yes, I think monitoring your heart rate is useful.
Okay, here's what we know locally. Chicago Fire says they handle lots of cardiac-related calls each day, but they say it's hard to tie any one call directly to any game. The bottom line from doctors is this: know your own health matters more than any score, and if something feels wrong, do not wait for the final whistle. Tina?
All right, well, next in sports, Ben Johnson and the Bears has the city of Chicago believing again. And let's be real, how could you not after the Bears' epic comeback win against the Green Bay Packers on Saturday? Ben Johnson letting the Packers hear it postgame. More next in sports.
Fox Local, your
Emily, we're ready for the freeze on Sunday.
You just got a glimpse of what I hear coming down the hall at me every day. Emily. Oh,
we know it's cold on Sunday, but we need to focus on this week because it's only Monday right now.
It's only Monday right now. Yes, we have a ways to get to until we can get to that Bears game on Sunday. And in between now and then, we have several snow chances to talk about. Your high temperatures today, nice and mild. We ended up topping out about 10 degrees above average, and that was putting us in the low 40s. We made it to 42 at O'Hare. Your temperatures right now, many of us are sitting in the mid to upper 30s. And it has been rather gusty out there today. That's going to be the story through tonight and into our day tomorrow as well. But the wind direction really is key because we're tapping into that warmer air out of the south. So with those gusty southwesterly winds, that's going to keep temperatures here tonight and tomorrow very, very mild. In fact, tomorrow we're expected to see our highs right around 50 degrees. And then we start to see some changes. So starting on Wednesday, we're going to see our temperatures dropping into the 30s. And then the rest of this week, we're just bouncing back and forth between the 20s and 30s. Now, looking ahead to this weekend and next week, this is your temperature outlook from the 18th through the 22nd. So that's Sunday through Thursday of next week. And you can see that we're strongly favored here to see below average conditions. So it's been a fairly mild start to your January. But it's looking like we're going to see a little bit of a pattern flip-flop here, beginning late this week and then at least lasting through most of next week as well. Satellite and radar, things are rather quiet, no precipitation to be concerned about. In fact, a lot of us enjoyed a lot of sunshine today. Right now we have some higher level clouds that have been building into the region, but we're going to stay dry tonight. We'll have those southwesterly winds becoming west southwesterly tomorrow. And then tomorrow morning, temperatures are actually going to be pretty mild. I think we're starting off in the mid 30s, getting a jump start to that warmth. And if you're thinking, okay, mid 30s, that's not all that warm. Well, it is when you're talking about lows, because your average low temperature for this time of January actually sits in the upper teens. So we're going to be way above that tomorrow morning. Then through the day tomorrow, we'll have a little bit of cloud cover here or there, but I still think most of the day is going to be partly cloudy, so a decent amount of sunshine. Highs are going to be right around 50. Cold front's going to come through Tuesday night. That's setting us up for a colder Wednesday. We're going to have some wind-whipped snow showers. We're going to have very gusty winds on Wednesday. So brief reductions in visibility certainly going to be possible on Wednesday during the day. Then Wednesday night into Thursday, we're going to see a lake effect event likely unfolding for parts of northwest Indiana. For tonight, 34 degrees. We'll have 5 to 15 mile per hour winds, becoming even gustier tomorrow. 50 degrees tomorrow, 38 degrees, and then falling temps on Wednesday, lake effect snow Wednesday into Thursday, and then a couple more systems coming through Friday and Saturday before we get very cold for that Bears game on Sunday. Back to you.
Thanks, Emily. Bears fans will have some new gear to sport as the team continues its playoff run. Local designer Catholic Imprint is releasing a new Pope Leo fan jersey. It's inspired by the Pope's Southside roots, each of them made right here in the city, and all of the money raised will be donated to local charities. If you want to order a jersey, you can go to popejersey.com.
Very cool. Well, maybe the Pope has had a little divine intervention this time around because the Bears' Super Bowl dreams are alive and thriving.
Tina is back with more on how the team is feeling today after the win.
The team's feeling great. Ben Johnson and the whole city of Chicago as well. One of the biggest playoff comebacks in Bears history, and it came against their biggest rival, the Bears, stunning the Packers in the wild card round. You saw how much it meant not only to the Bears, but to this whole entire city. Cassie Carlson has the latest on Ben Johnson's true feelings about the team up north.
There's always an exception to the rule. In this case, Ben Johnson's real feelings towards the Packers while celebrating the Bears' first playoff win in 15 years to send Green Bay packing.
There's a rivalry that exists between these two teams, something that I fully recognize and I'm a part of. And yeah, I mean, there's I don't like that team. So George and I have talked, and we're on the same page.
The players appreciate the emotions their head coach showed, too.
It was definitely a turned-up moment. Like, you could just see the energy in the locker room, you know what I mean? Like, everybody was like, okay, Ben got a little swag by himself, you know what I mean? But, I mean, we all put a lot into this, you know what I'm saying? And to be able to, you know, kind of just, you know, act off your true emotions and your true personality. I mean, I think that's what it was for him.
Saturday night was one for the books, which players are still trying to process.
Games like that, you're going to remember your whole career, and then even when you retire. Like, these are type games that it's going to go down in history books.
But coming off an emotional win, the Bears now have to shift their focus to the Rams.
All that stuff's really awesome, and it feels very emotional and significant, but none of that affects the next week.
They're damn good.
Ben Johnson was in Detroit for 2 seasons with Matthew Stafford, the Rams quarterback playing at an MVP level and leads the league in passing yards this season.
He's one of the more supremely talented throwers of the football I've ever been around in my life. He's outstanding. I think he's a great teammate. But what I think second to none with him is his toughness, physical toughness.
The Rams will be welcomed into Soldier Field by single-digit temperatures on Sunday, making it the coldest game they'll play in all season. Matthew Stafford has a 1-9 record in cold weather games. At Hallis Hall, Cassie Carlson, Fox Chicago Sports.
Thanks, Cassie. All right, going back to Saturday, quarterback Caleb Williams rallied the Bears to their largest postseason comeback win in franchise history, engineering his 7th fourth-quarter comeback victory this season alone, putting together one of the best QB performances this franchise has seen, setting the Bears' single-game playoff passing record with 361 yards. He also became the first Chicago QB since Jim Harbaugh back in '91 to beat the Packers in back-to-back games. But no matter what happens next, FS1's Danny Parkins believes the Bears are set for years to come.
Now, no matter what happens, the team that had the most successful year in the NFL is the team that wins the Super Bowl. But the second most successful season in the NFL is the Chicago Bears. Like, found your coach, found your quarterback, exercised the demons against the Packers, validated it all by winning that game. Moment we'll remember for the rest of our lives. Like, this has been the most enjoyable Bears season outside of a Super Bowl trip in my lifetime.
All right, more with FS1's Danny Parkins on Chicago Sports Tonight with Luke Canellis at 6 p.m. on our Fox Local app. You can also watch the show right here on Fox Chicago at 9:30. You'll hear more from Cassie as well. And Paris Shucks also joined Flu to discuss the latest on the Bears stadium plans. All tonight on your home with the Bears to Green Bay. ESPN is reporting that the Packers are expected to work out a deal to keep Matt LaFleur as their head coach. LaFleur has been in Green Bay since 2019, making the playoffs in 6 of those 7 seasons. But the last 2 years in the postseason, one and done. If a deal is not reached, LaFleur would enter the final year of his contract this next season, a lame duck situation that new Packers president Ed Policy has said he would prefer to avoid. Packers are done for the season, but the Bears, well, they are moving on to the divisional round, and they will face the LA Rams on Sunday. An official time will be announced later tonight. But Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford is going into this game with an injury. The 37-year-old has sprained his index finger on his throwing hand. It happened against the Panthers on Saturday. X-rays, though, came back negative. McVay said he doesn't think Stafford will have to wear anything on his finger or hand to protect the injury, and he will be good to go for Sunday's game against the Bears. Last but not least, the Blackhawks host the Oilers tonight as they go for their 6th win in their last 7 games. Puck drop at 7:30. We're back with more after this break.
Fox 32 News is brought
A very unbalanced fight at a Polish zoo. A 50-pound deer battles a 1.7-ton rhinoceros.
Yeah, we're going to speed it up for you. The zoo says the tiny deer's female companion was in heat. Look at this.
Oh, my God.
This guy filled with testosterone had to show the rhino who's boss. Protecting, look at that, protecting his territory. People online say this deer must have been a Chihuahua in a former life. And I think that reference is apt because if you go on some of these YouTube videos and you see the Chihuahua standing up to anybody and everybody, you put a Chihuahua in there, probably stand up to the rhino, but that is funny stuff.
Yeah. It's always the little dogs, isn't it?
The little ones.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look
Oh, dear. Dawn. Oh, Dawn.
I had to.
All right, 7-day forecast for you. We are very mild tomorrow, highs near 50, and then we're turning the page back over to winter later this week. We have several snow chances. Wednesday night into Thursday, we could have heavy lake effect snow setting up across portions of northwest Indiana, so we'll have to watch that closely. And of course, nobody cares about the next couple of days. They all care about Sunday.
That's right.
Right? For the Bears game, upper teens. It's going to be cold.
All right. Thanks for joining us at 5.
Now you can stream us on your smart TV with Fox Local.
We're on all the streaming platforms.
Family Feud is next. We'll see you back here for the news at 9.
At Postman Law, we fight for everyday people.